In all honesty, like, I was so into pirate radio as a kid that I just wanted to go on a radio and just see what it was like and see what it was about. And I was like, I remember being 15 years old, going on there and then going back to school, and everybody from school was tuned in. And that was it. And I walked into school like an absolute hero. Jumped to the stage. I walked on, put my hand out to him and said, I'm the next MC. My name's Supplier. I'm from Labyrinth, which I wasn't. But I thought
you blagged it.
Yeah, I wasn't. But I thought, oh, I need to say like kind of something. And he literally, it says, oh mate, nice one. Pass me the mic. Absolute ton. It's mental. I travel the world now with just that in my pocket. Look, I'll show you it. It's just right there. That's my whole record collection. So what you say there, yeah, absolutely. Those little things that you can do now with the nowadays technology is what completely, especially for me, will put the sets out. Because I'll be like da 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 da, like, and whatever it might be, like lost in love, lost in love, lost in, lost in, lost in, lost in, la 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 la. Everyone's like fucking hell. If you just sit there in the studio with me, you'd be bored shitless after about an hour, because it's just like I'm like boom, boom. I'm like, no, it's not hard enough. Boom, no, like kind of like trying to go. Like I'm like, oh, I want to feel like the warehouse is rattling when I was that little kid outside. Well, why is mine not making it do that? You know, that kind of. And I was lying on my sofa watching Netflix while I'm number one, and I was like, it's sick and shit. It was really strange feeling. The bulk of it, we didn't ever imagine that the listenership that was already on Centerforce would also embrace that with everyone that's followed me as well. And then it just went whoa. I'm so thankful for it. Honestly, like I'm doing what that 15, 16-year-old kid dreamt of. I've got to be honest with you, I really am.
On this week's show, we have a house music producer and remixer who brought us pumping floor filler tracks like Sail Away, Better Off Alone, Renegade and many more, who also has his own record label. And he's played all over the globe with his banging house sets. This guy's got so much positive energy. He's like a force of nature to be reckoned with. And he brings a real kind of uplifting vibe, you know, in his sets. He's an absolute diamond geezer. And I'm a regular listen to his shows on the Centerforce Radio 88.3. We've got the one and the only Sam Supplier in the back. Yes, Sam.
Yes, mate.
How you doing, my man?
All good. Don't start me off too big-headed, mate.
Listen, you, as I say, you really are a force of positive energy. You're an absolute diamond. You really are.
Cheers, mate. And
the first time I heard you was out in my cab, driving around the streets of London. I put a Centerforce on. I was like, who's this guy? He's fantastic. I thought I've got to get him in the cab for an interview.
Mate, I thought he was going to say a better story. I thought he was going to say that you had people driving past playing it.
I did. The amount of times that's happened as well. But listen, it's a real honour to have you in the back of the cab, and some really special things are going on in your life at the moment. I mean, you've had 2 #1 worldwide hits, which is incredible.
Yeah, lucky. Yeah, last month was the last month was the second one.
Yeah,
which is like, I was lucky really, because I was like, that's alright, I'm not a one-hit wonder.
No, you're not, mate. And you know, you are just, as I say, you know, I listen to your sets on the radio. And you know, you play so much music, because I'm from the old school. So when I listen to your sets, you're playing all this new music. I'm like blown away, thinking, you know, this is incredible. All these new sounds. I'm like, wow.
Well, I like the whole kind of thing of brand spanking new music of nowadays, the forefront of it, but with the old school kind of like samples and I mean, a lot of my stuff is new stuff, but yeah, it's sampled from stuff that I grew up listening to on my Walkman.
yeah, back in the day, yeah. But you've got an incredible ear, and you know, for music, and you know, as I say, I'm driving around and I'm hearing some tunes. I'm like, wow, what is this?
Yeah, sick. Thank you, mate.
So, but the way I always kick my interviews off with, or the way I always start, is you know, basically, whereabouts are you from, and what was it like growing up, you know, as a youngster?
Alright, so yeah, I'm from North London, Tottenham Wood Green. Grew up in borderline the hood.
And are you a Tottenham supporter?
Yeah, I'm Tottenham. You've got to support the local team, mate.
Yeah.
It's funny, really. When we went to school, like in the area, like most people support Arsenal. I'm like, how can you support Arsenal? Come on.
This is Tottenham territory.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. But like, what kind of music? You know, as a kid, what kind of music was you growing up on?
Well, it's funny, really, because actually growing up, so my dad's a drummer, and so
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so like I grew up like as some of my earliest memories, like of kind of 3-4-year-old kid with my dad being on stage at kind of festivals, and I mean probably subconsciously, which is what sucked me into doing what I'm doing now. So I kind of grew up with band stuff, which is like Christian rock. But they were within that scene. They were like one of the biggest bands of that era, and really successful. And I kind of grew up like around watching that. But as I started to get a little bit older, I got fascinated with pirate radio. So it wasn't necessarily the music that I was into. It was more the fact of these radio stations that are not meant to be on. I don't know. It kind of, as a little kind of 8-9-year-old kid, the concept of what that was. And I think off the bat, and I used to scroll through on my radio, like listening to all of the different ones.
Sam, do you remember trying to get the aerial and like trying to get
with the coat hanger?
Yeah. Trying to get a signal.
Right, and I think my bedroom like had this wire that I'd kind of like built going all the way like round, trying to pick them all up. And there were some stations in my bedroom. If I put it like on one side of the room, I'd get these stations, or I went to the other, I'd be able to like pick up some more.
Get the other stations, yeah. But pirate radio was pivotal. Pirate radio were basically the stations that were playing the underground music that the commercial stations were not playing.
No, for sure. I remember like, so the first kind of like dance orientated music was the Prodigy album. Like, and that Prodigy album, I remember speaking to one of my stepmom's mates, and she was like, oh, you should check out this station, that station, and they play similar type music. Going back to the question, the music off the back of that was kind of the hardcore ravey stuff, which I was never old enough to go to the raves, but probably also too young to listen to it, but loved it.
But the pirates were pivotal, and also the pirates were pivotal in terms of giving some of the DJs a platform to basically blow themselves up as DJs. There's some DJs out there who've become massive through pirate radio. I mean, I could mention 50, 60 off the top of my head.
100%. 100%. I think and as we talk about it a bit more, but like and myself also, that so many like people over the years. I mean, if you look at all of the big key names, everyone has kind of did their pirate stint to kind of build their name.
Yeah,
right from Carl Cox to Fabio and Groove Rider and to all of the big key icons of nowadays have definitely like gone through it
massively. A lot of them guys are coming through like pirate stations, like when Kiss FM was a pirate station, and obviously your Centerforce and all these stations. I mean, it was an incredible platform to and not just for the DJs as well, also for the club promotion as well. A lot of the clubs will be promoted through the pirates.
Yeah, 100%. Well, like back in those days, obviously there was no social media, so it was either a flyer or
down the pub, word of mouth.
Yeah, flyer, word of mouth, or then you got the DJs plugging it on the radio.
It's true, isn't it?
100%.
And it's, in actual fact, it's got that kind of vibe to it nowadays. You tune into like your Centerforce and all that, and My Soul and these DAB stations now. It's got that kind of pirate radio feel to it, because they're still promoting those kind of them underground parties.
Yeah, well, for sure. Well, especially with Centerforce now, that's the success of the station. That it's nowadays legal, but it gives that whole it's presented as a pirate, how the pirates were. You can message in for shout outs, you can the presenting on there is very raw pirate felt, like, if that makes sense. It's I mean, even when I'm on the radio, I call it I mean, it's slightly reined in from what it used to be, but it's professionally unprofessional. But yeah,
it's true, isn't it? And who, you know, back in the day when you was growing up, you know, who was inspiring you as a DJ? Was there like a selection of DJs out there?
It's funny, really, because like at the time, I thought that these DJs, like that, I always used to love this station, which was on 88.4 called Unity. I think they're like an Essex-based one, but they and I always remember, so they had these names on there. There was a guy called Paranoia, Scooby, Big Al, but I don't know, like these kind of people that I used to love listening to on the radio, but obviously I was too young to go out. It wasn't until kind of years later that I realised that, oh, the kind of Randall and Fabio and Groove Rider and these were the elite. But I used to just, I don't know, look up to the pirate ones that I absolutely loved listening to. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know, they had such an impact, you know, like back in the day, that, you know, those DJs were like, they were mind-blowing to listen to, weren't it? So much sick. Energy back then.
Yeah, so mate, I was totally enthralled, hence why I'm still sitting here now.
In the back of a cab. Yeah. But what was the reason, you know, you wanted to become a DJ? Was it because you wanted to give people a good time and play the selection of music that you wanted to play? And you had that force of energy as well.
I think, in all honesty, like, I was so into pirate radio as a kid that I just wanted to go on a radio and just see what it was like and see what it was about. And I was like, what do you mean they climb on top of tower blocks and put aerials up? And like, and kind of like, I was just enthralled by that. And then when I got the opportunity, like, kind of, yeah, it just kind of got into that. And then the first time I ever went on to like a pirate, one of my friends at school, a guy called Fodis, his big brother, his big cousin, Kay, owned just a small station over in radio station in Ilford, and he was at school going, yeah, I'll get you on. At the time, I liked hosting on the mic. And
really, what, like reggae toasting?
No, hosting is in like
hosting.
Yeah, hosting is in like kind of borderline MCing. Yeah. Which then led on to that. But yeah, it was. He's like, yeah, I'll get you on. So which he did, and I was like, I remember being 15 years old, going on there, and then going back to school, and everybody from school had tuned in. And that was it. And I walked into school like an absolute hero.
Like a superstar.
Literally. And I think that moment there probably sucked me in. I was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah, I could be doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And can you remember some of them early kind of like lyrics, the MC lyrics that you were spitting on the mic?
Yeah, don't get me to start doing it, mate. But I spent the first part of my career doing that for sure. Like, and it wasn't until a little bit further in where I started going all around different radio stations. I started getting a little name as Supplier, like doing all the different stations, and then
is that how your name come about?
Yeah. And then basically from going around doing these stations, and then after a while I was just like, oh, I've always got to take a DJ with me, like, because I couldn't DJ. And then
you could just MC, but you couldn't DJ just yet.
No. So then I started having a real like popular like show, one called Extreme FM and one called Shine FM. Yeah, and I just started. I remember like one time one of the DJs couldn't come. So I grabbed his record bag. Like, I said, oh, let me pick up your record bag. I'll just go up there and play the tunes. Obviously, I couldn't mix or anything. And then it gradually
mix a pancake.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And then it progressed over the kind of the space of the next like probably about a year trying to mix live on radio.
Well, the thing, and Sam, the thing is, you was trying to mix vinyl.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Vinyl is a totally different ball game. It ain't like press the button, sync it, and not play it and mix it.
I mean, as the listeners will tell you when they was listening, like it was pretty bad. But so yeah, so I actually learnt to mix. I never had decks. I learnt to mix live on radio while everyone was listening, while London was listening.
Because you didn't have your own setup at home.
No, and it was really funny because it was like a running joke how awful I was, and whenever I got one that actually was in sync, and it was literally the phone line would go crazy and go, "Way, you've got one!" And it was a bit of a running joke. And
that's how you learnt your craft.
Yeah, literally while London was listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it. But I mean, I was a club promoter and I was kind of emceeing, like, so it wasn't really. It was a bit like suppliers trying to DJ. It was a bit of a kind of gimmick in a strange way.
There were some amazing lyricists. I mean, you know, was there certain MCs that would like blow you away? I mean, like people like Ragga Twins and, you know, like MCs like that. You know.
Yeah, I love Ragga Twins. Like, I used to like MCs for different reasons back in those days. Like, I used to listen to the tapes. I never got to go to one of the events. Like, it was a little bit before like my time, but I used to listen to the tapes of Elevation, that rave. Wishing I could go, and there was a guy on there called MCMC, and I used to love whenever the music stopped. He just used to know what to say just to elevate like the crowd, and I think I took a little bit of inspiration like from that. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So and then lyricist wise, I was always a fan of like MC Shabba and Skibbity.
Oh, Skibbity and Shabba.
Yeah, which and in later years Shabba then became my business partner. We became friends.
Wow.
But they and obviously Skibbity as well.
R.I.P. Yeah, R.I.P.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think they're the kind of they're the ones that I was well into and loved.
Did you ever get a bit nervous, like going up on stage and start like toasting, rapping, MCing in front of a crowd, or was you holding it down pretty well?
No, I don't. I think it's more like the anticipation of getting on. I still get a little bit now, but I never get nervous. I'm more like, oh, I want to get on now, kind of like
You're hyped.
Yeah,
You're
like
hyped for it.
Yeah, hyped. I don't know, like eagerness, kind of. I don't know if it's a form of anxiety. I'm lucky that I don't suffer from anxiety, but that kind of
you just want to let it out.
Yeah. There's only one time ever, I'll tell you a story, there's only one time ever that I ever got nervous, and it was 15 years old, and I did the old, I actually spoke about this in the Centerforce book. So what happened, we did the age-old thing where I told my mum and dad that, I live with my dad, told my dad that I'd staying at my friend's house. My friend told his mum he's staying at my house, and then we went to a rave, which was United Dance at Stevenage Arts and Leisure Centre. We went down there, and obviously we didn't get in. We'd gone there like thinking like we kind of got our bucket hats on, and we're trying to look a little bit older. Didn't work. But by this time, so like from Wood Green Alexander Palace, you could get the train down to Stevenage. Yeah. So we've gone down there. And then by the time we've not got in, we've missed the last train home. So now we're like, oh no, we've got to wait till like 6-7 in the morning. So we're sitting outside this rave, like, I don't even know why we tried, like, pair of idiots. But, so we're just sitting outside, and we're just kind of just sitting leant up against the building, and we can feel the whole thing rattling, like, zoom, 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 like kind of like wishing we were in there. So it's probably about like 1:30 in the morning or so, and all of a sudden, where we're sitting, the fire escape pops open, and St John's ambulance are walking somebody out who's a bit worse for wear.
Would you go through the exit?
And me and my mate just looked at each other and went, boom! Ran in! We literally ran in, ran into the middle of the crowd, and that was it, where he was in.
You was hooked.
But, so anyway, we're in now, and within like, I don't know, another 5 minutes, I don't know why I even thought this, or my go-getter kind of self even from that age. I was like, mate, come. And we hopped over the barrier to like where the stage was. So now within 5 minutes we're backstage, like kind of just there. Then I can see the MC saying, because I was an absolute fan of tape packs, and I knew that the DJs changed at the hour, and I kind of knew who was who. But in those days there's no social media, so you couldn't see their faces, or you didn't know who was who, unless like you'd bought a magazine that they might be in. So great. There's a guy, I think his name's MC Junior, and he's with Force and Styles, was on quite hardcore music. And then so he's saying last one. So I thought, whoa, fuck it. Like, I walked up to the stage, I walked on, put my hand out to him and said, I'm the next MC. My name's Supplier, I'm from Labyrinth, which I wasn't. But I thought
you blagged it.
Yeah, I wasn't, but I thought, I need to say like kind of something. And he literally, it says, oh mate, nice one, pass me the mic. We hadn't even been in the rave no more than 10 minutes. No, we had not even been in there. And now
you're on stage.
I've stood there, I've got the mic in my hands.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm thinking, whoa. So now, and United Dance, there must have been anything, I don't know, between 3,000 and 5,000 people in there. It was insane. So he gives me the mic, I look out to the crowd, and then look back at him. I look at the DJ and the music's stopping, you know, like on a vinyl, it's going do 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 do.
Yeah.
I quickly run back over to him and grab him. I said, what DJ is it? Because I don't know what they look like. And so the DJ's stopped, there's no music playing now. And he's like, and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, is it Groove Rider? Because I'm thinking I might have seen him in a magazine. Then he just shrugs his shoulder like he doesn't know. I was like, whoa. So I then went, who's ready for some jungle? The whole place, whistles and horns, just went vroom. And my legs at that point, and it's the only time in my whole life it's ever happened, my legs went to jelly and I wobbled. I nearly fell over. Like it went, I was like, whoa, what am I even doing here? Yeah, and I just shouted, Groove Rider. It's actually on YouTube somewhere. It's like someone sent me it a little while ago. I shouted Groove Rider and he plays the tune and it was him, luckily. But anyway, so
what are the chances of that?
There's a long story about did I ever get nervous?
Once.
Yeah, once.
Once.
Yeah, that was it. I was alright after that.
Well, wicked story. Going back to like the record days, I mean, record digging, you know, and sniffing out your crop was pivotal to being a DJ back in the day, wasn't it, son? So, can you tell me about some of the record shops you would be digging your vinyl from, or would you be going to like all different places all over London?
Well, so like vinyl wise, I only spent the last couple of years.
Because you was too young.
Yeah, so I spent the last couple of years of vinyl.
That's when the CDs kicked in.
Yeah, so I spent about 2 years, and then it went into CDs. So I didn't have huge amounts. Like I probably had the back seat of the cab twice. I mean, it was quite a lot of records still.
Yeah.
Like, but it was, I enjoyed going to find records. Like, I really did like that. I used to go to Rhythm Division on Roman Road. Obviously Black Market. Uptown Records, which is in West End. What else did I used there
was a few.
Oh, there's one in UDM in Enfield. That was like a North London one for us. Scream Records in Southgate. Yeah, I think they were like the ones for me at that point. But then I really got into cutting dub plates it kind of got to an era at the end of vinyl where you could get a lot of personal dubs with a lot of people like kind of re-singing their tracks with you, singing their tracks with your name in, like your own personal kind of. And I was really into that. Often cutting the dub plates. I really used to enjoy going to music house and kind of getting the dubs. I love the smell of them as well. Actually, the vinyls, they're some of the only ones I ever kept, the dub plates and that.
So you still held back some of your vinyl?
I've only got one bag. I got rid of everything. What I did was with a vinyl, because when it turned into CDs, because I wasn't that precious about it, because I didn't collect from real early. And so what I did was I had a friend and I said, right, if you record in every single one of my records onto CDs for me, then you can have the whole lot. But like I want front and back, whole lot, and all the CDs, which he did. It took him a couple of months, and then gave me all of the CDs, and that's it. Vinyls are yours. I just kept one bag with
the special ones that really meant something to you.
Yeah, ones that meant something to me. There's a few what I was on the mic as well, like on the records, or there was all the dub plates there. I've just got one big bag.
And in terms of like the way things change from obviously record to CD, how did you find out? What did you get, like what they call CDJs?
Yeah, CDJs. Yeah, I'm not a good person with change really. I was kind of like a bit kind of not wanting to let the records go. Then when I got into it, I totally embraced the change. And then from CDs onto like the USBs now, which is, I mean, I got my whole record collection in my pocket now. Literally.
Back in the day, like you'd end up with like 3 or 4 record boxes.
Mate,
and they weighed a ton.
Absolute ton. It's mental. I travel the world now with just that in my pocket. Look, I'll show you it. It's just right there. That's my whole record
Do you
collection.
carry that with you like 24/7?
Yeah, always. Wow. I've got like, it's just got my earplugs. Yeah, and I've got 4 USB sticks.
Wow.
Like, just like that. I actually don't ever leave the house with it. Just boom, goes in the pocket. Done.
When I done an interview with Colin Dowell, big up Colin Dowell,
legend,
absolute legend, and he was telling me, he loves his vinyl, obviously, but he was saying the ease of MP3 files is so much easier when in terms of like searching for a vinyl. Because back in the day, you'd be like looking for like, where did I put this? Where did I put that? But now it's on like a computer or whatever, a laptop. You can just punch it in and up it will come.
Yeah, 100%. But not only that. So.
And also, you don't need to buy a house with a bigger bedroom to put your vinyl in as well.
I mean that's a big point. But more so as a DJ, if you so the record boxes used to fit around about 50 records in, 40 to 50 I think, and some people would take 2. But if you play and then the DJ before you's just spun half of them, you wouldn't have any other choice because that's all you've got. Yeah. Whereas now, like on the USB sticks, you got the whole library. There's no excuse to ever play the same records you've just heard, and that is definitely a big game changer for sure. And often like I'll watch the crowd now, and be like kind of wanting to think out the box and be like, I'll watch it. Do you know what? They need like a real classic now. And I've got folders there where I think, yeah, that one. Whereas if you had the vinyls, you'd be like, I didn't put that one in today.
It's true, isn't it? And also another thing as well, thinking about it, is them kind of little samples that you can add in, where you didn't necessarily be able to do that as much when you had decks and a mixer, where you could like add in like a little vocal or something like that. You can play around with the sounds a lot more.
100%. Like my big part of my career now is built on that. I know the buttons inside out. I'd like to think like way more than most. I've made a trade and a career from knowing it inside out now. So what you say there, yeah, absolutely. Those little things that you can do now with the nowadays technology is what completely, especially for me, will put the sets out. Because I'll be like da 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 da, like, and whatever it might be, like. Lost in love, lost in love, lost in, la. Everyone's up fucking hell. Like, but yes, which you could never do with vinyl. So as much as like I do hear and I do understand, it's all technology and buttons this day. I'm like, this day and age, I'm like, it is. Just fucking embrace it. Yeah. And I mean, as I say, your sets are absolutely incredible. Thank you.
In terms of creativity, creativity is key. Whether you're an MC, you write lyrics, you write poems, or you're doing graffiti art, street art. It's all being creative. You're getting lost in this kind of creative world. You started to do music producing. So how did you get into the production? Do you kind of get lost within producing music?
Yeah, for sure. Like I felt, if I'm honest, I want to put it in the right words. I felt it was essential. I didn't necessarily feel, I really want to do this. I mean, I've dabbled over the years of a few bits with a few people, but it wasn't an avenue that I'd massively wanted to go down. But so the last kind of 9 years, be full-time DJ now. And then I was looking at the flyers, and I was like, oh, why is their names way above mine? I was looking at kind of the artists that were around me. I was like, oh, why are they playing up and down the country and I'm kind of still quite local? Why are they getting more money than me? Or like whatever it might be. And I realised it's because they're making music and I'm not. And then so I felt to climb the ladder and grow as a DJ stroke artist. Like I'd had to make music. Well, really, I went from being a DJ, which I now look at myself as an artist. So it felt it was essential for the career, not something that I was striving to do. And even now, if I'm honest, like I don't love going and making music. Like I'm not like, I don't sit there, wake up at 2 in the morning like some people do, go, oh, I've got a melody in my head and start writing it. Like I'm more like, okay, I've got Tuesday, Wednesday this week free. I'm gonna go to my studio, lock myself in there, and see what I can come up with. I look at it in a bit of a different way. Don't get me wrong, it sounds a bit geography what I'm saying there, yeah, but
it's the way you deal with it.
Yeah, but I absolutely love, with a passion, playing the tracks and seeing the reaction that they get.
How does that make you feel when you're playing your track and everybody's going off on one and absolutely loving it and it must be ecstatic.
Honestly, like it makes that bullshit 2 days sitting there worth it. Like that kind of going through here, like literally, I'm just like, I'll be so. If you just sit there in the studio, I mean, you'd be bored shitless after about an hour, because it's just like, I'm like, boom, boom. I'm like, no, it's not hard enough. Boom, no, like and I'm anally kind of like trying to go. Like I'm like, oh, I want to feel like the warehouse is rattling when I was that little kid outside. Well, why is mine not making it do that? You know, like kind of, yeah. So like it, but yeah. So it just that feeling of when you're doing it, I can't explain it. It's absolutely insane. Like the hairs on my arms go up, and it's funny when you make a record. It goes through a few stages, because you'll have that feeling of when you first play it. Because often, like what I'll do is I make music nearly every week. So like and I'm lucky that I do 2 or 3 gigs minimum every week. So I get to test my music. So I'll make something and then I'll test it that week. I'll then go back in the studio, go, it wasn't going hard enough. Let's get it even harder. Or I might do a piano breakdown, a bit like, it's a little bit long. I can see people stop dancing a little bit. Let's make that a bit shorter. So I do these little tweaks. Little test runs. Yeah, so do the test runs. But also, it might go both ways, because I might play a record and I'll be like, oh, that didn't go down too well. Because when any producer will tell you, when you make a record, that you always think, oh, that's the best record ever made. All of us think it, like, and then you play it and be like, yeah, it probably wasn't that great, was it? Do you know, after the test, you know what will be quite mad is if you dropped, your track that you absolutely loved, and then later on down the years think, maybe I could have added that to it. Oh, that does happen. Yeah, that does happen. Quite often I was like, there's bits in some of the records, some of my bigger records as well, that there's stuff I'm like, oh, I really hate that bit. but yeah, like, so it goes through 3 stages, like a few stages. So yeah, the absolute feeling of everybody like going nuts is such a good feeling. Must be incredible. But the next feeling of that is when. So you'll play your record for a little bit. Hopefully, then I'm at the stage now where most of my music will get signed. So then you get the stage of, wow, my record's actually signed. Everybody's feeling what I was hoping that those couple of days in the studio would progress to. And then the next stage there is when you hear other DJs playing your record, and to walk into a venue and your music's playing, that is a phenomenal feeling. Even like now when I walk in, I'm like, whoa, I buzz off of that.
You get goosebumps.
Yeah. I'm like, whoa, they're playing my record. I'm like a little kid. I'm like, so all of the DJs out there that ever play my music, thank you.
Yeah, and also as well, we got to give a big shout out to all the music producers as well, because if it wasn't for them making music, this world would be a very depressing place.
Mate, 100%.
Music is our life.
Definitely, definitely. I'm a little bit so into house music. I grew up listening to hardcore, started raving at the late part of jungle music, then started doing my thing in garage kind of world, which and progressed kind of stayed relevant and progressed into what it is now. But I now feel that with house music is that same feeling of when I was going around collecting the vinyls, that there's all of this brand new music every week. I mean, I receive between 100 and 150 records a week, like through, like, obviously it's all emailed now. I'm on all of this stuff that's not out yet. It's so much music, and I absolutely love going through and receiving this brand new stuff, which is lucky on the Centerforce show that I get to showcase so much brand new stuff. I make a point of, right, this is new music that possibly will be what I feel could be big over the next 6 months. You lot are hearing it before anyone else. That's part of what the show is. And I love that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much talent out there, Sam. You know, I mean, it's incredible.
For sure, especially for good or for bad, but it's a lot more accessible to make music now with technology. So you
100%, because you can make a track now with a laptop, can't you?
Mate, I've made a track on an airplane before, just sitting there on my laptop. Like a pair of headphones, like it's you don't need a £500,000 studio, which everybody imagined. Everyone's seen the pictures of these great big mixing desks, and those desks and those pictures, that the famous pictures of Dr. Dre or whatever, these real big desks, like that.
No,
now,
Arthur Baker and people like that. Yeah,
exactly. That now I have that program, like, in layman's terms, I have that program like in my lappy, like, and which costs like 60 quid. Like,
crazy.
And it does to a T exactly that.
What do you use as a term? Do you use things like Ableton?
Yeah, I use that. Yeah, I produce on Ableton. Yeah.
Because I got Ableton about 2 years back, and I'm trying to learn it, but it's an art form in learning it itself. I think it's a lot of it's kind of repetition and trying to get used to the thing. How did you learn? Did you pick up like little YouTube clips and things like that?
I'll be honest with you, yeah. Like, as we are doing this for YouTube, I learned on YouTube.
Wow.
I literally did.
Yeah.
And still to this day,
Yeah.
I'll quite openly say there's stuff that I'm like, oh, how'd you do that? And I still go on YouTube now and look up stuff. Everything is on there. You can, as long as you really like finally search, like you can find out absolutely everything. So like, yeah, I luckily I've got a lot of friends that produce. So I mean, I was on the phone, yeah, how'd you do this, how'd you do that, like kind of. But the bulk of it I learned on YouTube. So there you go.
No, me too. I'm trying to get some tips off there as well. It's brilliant. And in terms of like, you know, making a record, I mean, I've spoke to quite a few producers like Sed G from Ultramagnetic MCs, and they were saying that sometimes they'd be in the studio like putting down a track and working on a track for about 8 or 9 hours, and suddenly it's lost. They'll press a button or something, will like freeze, and they'll lose the whole, like, you know, 2 days worth of production.
Yeah. Like,
do you back your stuff up?
I've just remixed a pop star called Sigala. I've just remixed his new single, and he's like massive, like kind of, I don't know, that 9 top 10 singles in. If it was nowadays, like, it'd be on top of the pops. He's like that level.
Huge.
And yeah, I did the remix and I lost it. Like that's like the second time in my life that's happened.
How long did you work on that remix?
I really put the effort on that. It was quite highly paid, so so I really put and I lost it, and I had to sit there and do the whole thing again. And that was a ball ache. That was, and I couldn't get it quite the same.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't get it quite the same. And then I was trying to mirror on what I was doing, and I was like, oh, hopefully I made it better now. I think I put even more effort in. So yeah, I basically did the remix twice.
Wow.
But yeah, so yeah, no, going back to the question, yeah, I've got all different hard drives and all of that. Yeah, you do
back it all up.
Yeah, you really have to.
In terms of producers, you know, is there any producers out there that you love their work? I mean, there must be so many.
Yeah, like because I'm into and play as an artist, brand spanking new, kind of anything under the word house music. But
under that banner.
Yeah,
which can cover a lot of different styles of house.
Of course, like I play tech house, minimal tech, deep house. Like kind of like I kind of take the biggest tracks of all of those subgenres of house. My two biggest records are under the tech house bracket. But yeah, so producer wise, I like a guy called Chris Lake, Salado. They're great. I'm signed to a label called Catch and Release of a guy called Fisher. He's absolutely massive, one of the biggest in the world. I really like all of his stuff. I just like anything quite energetic, really. I think it kind of
anything that will really kind of lift the crowd.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, like I do like all music, that all styles, but I just think that I like for what I would like to play out.
Yeah. Did and also, you know, what was the reason behind starting the label? How did that come about? What's the name of the record label?
Caress Records. So Caress with a K. Yeah. So yeah. I think that it was more like with the label. Two reasons really. Like, one, I got a lot of mates like from over the years who I think are sick at what they do, but they haven't quite like got to where they should get. And I play a lot of their tunes for them on this and that. And I just thought, you know what? If I've got this label, it's a way of me building my own camp and bringing everybody through with me. So as my success and I go through, I can kind of like bring the boys like a little bit, and a few other people along the journey that I meet and rate, and kind of my idea for the record label isn't necessarily to try and sign the biggest artists in the world. Don't get me wrong, if the opportunity comes, then I will take that, of course. But it's more like it doesn't matter if you've got 10 followers on Instagram, but it's a fantastic record, then I kind of just want that as an avenue that I can push music that wouldn't get heard, but that I love. So yeah, I think that is part of probably the main reason for the label. And as we're going over the years, it'd be nice to, at some point when I'm old and my tinnitus is too bad that I can't DJ in 20 years time or whatever, I think it'd be nice to have built the label by that point, and it will be a big force of nature.
Someone like you will be DJing in 40-50 years, because you've got that energy, you've got that positive attitude, and you know, as I said from the start, Sam, you're a diamond geezer.
Cheers, mate.
Do you know what I mean? You know, and you've given time to do this interview with me in the back of the cab. I'm no like massive YouTube channel, or I'm not like a big, you know, corporate or whatever. I'm just a down-to-earth cab driver doing this for the love. You step forward to do this, and you know, it really shines through as a person what you are to do this interview. I'm blown away.
I thought you was dropping me to Gatwick.
Well, mates rates.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
50, done a swap.
But no, it means a lot, mate, that you're in the back of the
No, thank you for having me, mate. Thank you.
And tell me about, you know, you've had like 2 #1 worldwide hits. I mean, tell me about that. That must be mind blowing that you've had these, you know, 2 #1s.
The first one. So the first one's with the guy Fisher, who I mentioned, like, and his label's over in Hollywood, and we'd been mates for a while. We're both like surfers, and when I toured Australia, like, we spent some time together over there, and become friends, and he signed this record. Now I knew this record was going to come with him. He absolutely loved it. He absolutely latched onto it, and because he's playing in front of kind of 30,000-40,000 people crowds weekly, the record, and he's playing it every set, and it's just blowing and blowing. And he was like, mate, I need to sign this, I need to get this out. I was like, yeah, great, take it, thank you, mate. give me a deal for the records. And then we went into lockdown, and in that point, and the record was meant to come out like kind of about 1 month in, and we pushed it back. Like, and he's like, oh mate, because obviously none of us knew what was happening at that time. So we was like, oh wait, let's wait another 2 months. Let's wait another. So it kept pushing it back, and obviously the world was crap for so long. And it got to the stage where he's like, mate, if I don't bring the record out, it's gonna be old. Like, so we're gonna have to just bring it out, even though club land isn't open. And so we did it, and music wise, a lot of people were buying music, so they were just sitting at home kind of doing live streams and this and that. But so the record came out, and luckily enough went to number 1 in the world on Beatport, and it was, which is like a worldwide the worldwide chart that all of the artists follow. And it was the best thing and the worst thing that happened, because something I dreamt of, to get that to happen in my career. But the work, and I'm so thankful for that happening, and thank you for everyone that bought it. But I was also, at the time, would have been, right, off the back of that, I'd have toured America, and my whole career would have gone way more than it even is now. And I was lying on my sofa watching Netflix while I'm number 1. And I was like, it's sick and shit. It was really strange feeling. Best thing and worst thing, I was like, I got one side of me going, yeah, the other side going, well, I'm not doing anything with it. Like, kind of.
Yeah, that must have been tough.
Yeah, it was such a weird feeling. Really, I can't even explain that. Like, it's so sick and so shit. Like, weird. Yeah. And since then, we just sat at the second number 1 with Better Off Alone, the remake of the old Alice DJ, fantastic record from back in the day, which I loved. And that record there was actually only meant to just be for my sets. Like, and
you wasn't going to release it?
No.
It was just going to be you playing that strictly.
Yeah. And then everyone just started asking for it. And then we went a record label jumped in and took it and said, yeah, can we do it? I was like, it's going to be a free download. Yeah, go on then. Like, I was just doing it for my sets, and I was just going to put it out all as for free or whatever. And then so they went and did that, and then it went number 1 again. So that was this summer, and it's getting battered in Ibiza. I was getting videos every 2 minutes. I was like, oh my god, this is mental. So yeah, I have started to actually reap the benefits off of that one, luckily.
How many? Do you know how many kind of? Do you get like some kind of like award or something to say you've had a number 1? Do you get like a gold disc or anything like that? Because back in the day, you get like platinum disc and all that. Do you get anything like that? Any recognition?
So you do, depending on what chart and how it is. So like, but on the kind of tech house kind of like world, no. But you would do if you was like, I don't know, if you're gonna do like British national chart or America's Billboard chart or kind of like that, you would. But that's a bit more pop world, which I'm deliberately not trying to dive into.
Keep it underground.
Yeah, of course.
It's all about the underground, pirate underground style. Is there a kind of like any advice that you could give to like, up and coming sort of DJs that want to kind of?
Yeah, do you know what? A lot of people ask that question, and I tell everyone the same thing: is make music. So exactly what I said to you earlier, like about why I felt I needed to make music, because it absolutely elevates you, and especially now with technology, a lot of people don't need their ears like on the vinyl to mix. You can quite learn it a lot easier now, which means there's a hell of a lot more DJs. So why should somebody book you that can mix somebody else's records? That doesn't make it special or important. If you then make the music, then your career will go vroom.
fly it, rock it.
Make music. That is my advice.
All
Mate,
about
you
making the
do
music.
better off learning to make music than learning to DJ, because you can make one hit and that's it. You'll DJ everywhere.
Yeah. You get to start getting a name for yourself.
That's the advice.
And as I said, Sam, because we're going to be winding up soon, but the first time I heard you was on Centerforce. So, you know, how did you get onto Centerforce Radio? Because your slot is on, what is it, Friday from 4 till 6?
Yeah, Friday afternoon, 4 till 6. Yeah,
I mean, what a wicked station. I mean, so many, like Billy Daniel, big shout out to Billy Daniel Bunter, Daniel Montana, Alex P. You know, there's so many. It's such a great station.
Yeah, there's so many people on there have done so many good things and achieved such sick things over the years. Like the station, yeah, mate, it's absolutely wicked. Like I was doing some other stations like prior, and then Master Pasha had got me up to like do a guest show, and I enjoyed it. Like I had one of my records coming out, and I went up to promote the record with him, and he was trying to poach me onto there, as in typical Master Pasha form, and then and I was kind of like, no, and then next record come out, and he's like, yeah mate, come back up, and he was saying the same thing. And then I remember it was the kind of end of lockdown era, and I was like, yeah, go on, I'll come, and I'm not as busy as I was, like, kind of, yeah, I'll come and do some shows. And yeah, and it just led into that, really. And then I got hooked. Like, I was like, this is sick. Like, yeah, like, and I mean, in all honesty, I'll say this on camera, they were like saying, if you come on, we'll get like the younger element listenership to listen, and that was, in all honesty, that was part of or the main part of getting me on. That they were like, kind of, we need a like a younger fan base, as well as, because we've got the rest, everybody on lock. We're already killing it. We've got that as well. Oh my gosh, it's gonna go boom,
explode.
Yeah. And luckily for me, which none of us, we've all spoken about this in the offices, like, it was more aimed at that, and it was just lucky for me that kind of everybody else also embraced it, because the backbone of Centerforce was quite old schooly, really.
Oh yeah, 100%. A lot of people like me, like in their kind of 50s to mid 50s. I mean, you know, tuning in, because we used to listen to it back in the day, back in the late 80s.
And that is the nostalgia of
so
why it's so sick.
As I said, bringing someone like you in was genius, because, no disrespect to you, Sam, but I hadn't heard of you at the time. Yeah. But when I was listening to you, I was like, who's this guy? Like, playing all this music that I'd never heard of before, and it was fantastic.
It was actually a bit of a gamble all round, really, because it was all of this music that no one's heard. It could have been like, oh mate, turn this off. And actually, I'm sure there is an element of people that aren't into that, of course. But the bulk of it, we didn't ever imagine that the listenership that was already on Centerforce would also embrace that with everyone that's followed me as well. And then it just went vroom.
Went viral.
Like, yeah, it's absolutely like just gone crazy. It was like, oh, let's do the most prime time show on the station, 4 till 6 on a Friday, which is, yeah, it was a bit of a fluke, really. It wasn't necessarily done for that. So I'd big up everyone at Centerforce and everyone that does, and I say this on the show, like, thank you for everybody that takes the time to embrace new music, because I understand it's not for everybody, but like to move forward, you have to have new music. We can't all play the same 50 records.
No. So 100%. I mean, as I say, you've opened up my musical sort of, you know, as I say, I was stuck in the 80s and the kind of 90s, but you know, you've opened up my kind of expansion to musical sort of sounds in it, like, you know, with all this different like different house music I'm hearing. It's incredible.
Mate, I absolutely, honestly, I got a bit of a goosebump there. Mate, I absolutely love to hear that, because I'm so passionate about new music, especially as a producer, but like,
you shine through,
and I really want to push new music and keep pushing it through, hence the reason I got a label, hence the reason I play brand new music, hence the reason I make music. I just want to push that. And so for everybody that does embrace it, I know it's not for everybody, that's cool, like, but hopefully it's for most.
I'll tell you, it's for the majority, that's for sure.
Wicked. No, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Actually, this is a little question for you before we kind of wrap this up. You know, obviously you're a brilliant DJ, fantastic producer and remixer. Apart from the music, if you get time, have you got any kind of hobbies? Apart from, like, you know, being obsessed by music.
The music absolutely takes over my life. Like, it really does. I live, sleep and breathe it. But yeah, the one thing that I do is I go surfing, and I'm absolutely addicted.
Where can you surf in this country? You go Cornwall, places like that?
Yeah, Cornwall, South Wales, Devon. Yeah, wherever there is, like, literally, like, there's an app on the phone. It tells you where the closest waves are, where's looking good. And yeah, that's what I do away from music. Like, few reasons. The surfing, I've surfed since a little kid. I'd like to think I'm fairly good now. And it when you surf, it lets off the same endorphins as when you're playing to a big crowd. That adrenaline.
Is it really?
Yeah, like, it's exactly the same thing. So that big wave coming at you, it's like, oh, and it's the exact same feeling of everybody going nuts. And maybe I'm some form of a adrenaline junkie. But yeah, so I surf, and not only that, I also like the fact that go out in the water for a couple of hours, no phone, clear your head, and it's kind of like just.
And you're in that cold, fresh sea, you know, and it must be.
Especially in winter time in Britain.
Yeah, you're proper freezing.
Yeah, so I absolutely love surf. I'm addicted.
And as I say, we're coming to kind of like the end of the interview now, but in terms of highlights, what's been some of the biggest highlights? Would it be like playing at Creamfields, Glastonbury? You know, I mean, these are like huge, you know, huge places to play.
Yeah, I'd say I think this year has been my biggest year to date. I started the year with I had a tour of Thailand, which was mental. I try to go through the months in my head. Yeah, obviously the radio show's gone absolutely potty.
It's gone ballistic, isn't it?
Got ballistic. I've got the second number one. Did my Glastonbury debut. I played main stage at Creamfields with like Sonny Fodera and Calvin Harris, Swedish House Mafia.
Wow.
Which is insane. I played like 50,000 people. I did residency every other Tuesday, like back and forth over in Ayia Napa. In fact, I've been on about, throughout that year, between 50-60 flights. Like it's been phenomenal. I've done over 150 gigs, like, and we're only kind of halfway through the year, just over. Like it's, I don't know. There you go. There's some highlights, I'm so thankful for it. Honestly, like I'm doing what that 15, 16-year-old kid dreamt of. I've got to be honest with you. I really am. That and I'm not ready for it to stop yet.
Listen, it's never going to stop. Listen, you've got that kind of personality. You're blessed with it. You know, that positive kind of force of nature. And like, you know, as soon as you got in the cab, you know, you're like a ray of light.
Oh,
you know, you really are. And it shows when you're DJing as well how much passion you've got for this. I mean, you're never going to lose it.
So sometimes I watch the videos back and I'm like, man, what are you doing? Why is your leg twitching? I'm laughing at myself, like, idiot.
No,
way too into it.
Listen, Sam, it's an absolute wicked interview, and I like to kind of go at the old school actually, because I'm obviously, as I say, I'm in my kind of mid-50s. But is there anyone you want to give like a shout out to? Obviously, all the fans and.
Man, just thank you for anybody and everybody that buys the records and streams the records, like, and because the bigger that the music gets, like, that's what elevates the career, to be able to do all of these fantastic stuff that I'm spoiled enough to do. So yeah, like, and even social media, yeah, as good and bad as it is so important. So just everybody that does comment, like and follow, like, we are in a world of probably I'd say go as far as to say, unfortunately, that we're in. So everybody that does do that and everybody that does follow me, thank you, and hopefully like I entertain you and make it worth it, and hopefully and I'll continue to make some better music.
Sam, you're a diamond. Listen, how can people get in touch and also support your music?
So yeah, Beatport is the platform to grab new music from, but Spotify and all of that, the record label Caress Records, I'm putting a load of music and free downloads and stuff on there, so soundcloud.com/Caress Records with a K, and everything is just at Sam Supplier. Please jump on there, follow it, I appreciate it, man.
Follow Sam on Instagram as well, and also check out his shows on Centerforce 88.3 DAB.
Literally the Instagram, I'm an addict. I document my life every day, so yeah, follow the journey.
Listen, Sam, it's been an incredible interview.
Mate, thank you for having me.
I hope you've enjoyed this kind of little casual chat as well.
100%, mate. We're going to miss the flight though, so
yeah, we've got to put the foot on the gas. But listen, anyone watching, subscribe to this channel. I've interviewed Billy Daniel Bunter, Brandon Block, Jay Strongman, Johnny Rocker, Public Enemy, Man Parish, Cosmo D Nucleus, as well as hundreds of others.
Sick.
But listen, Sam, it's been a real honour for you to step forward to do this interview.
Mate, it's an honour to be added to that list, so thank you.